This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
There are detractors of the Lotus 49 who claim the car is slow. Obviously, regular drivers know this is far from the truth. However, the casual viewer might want to tune in today for proof that this is one of the fastest cars on the iRacing service. Perhaps the most perfect place to demonstrate this is here at the Temple of Speed itself, Monza. Lacking downforce devices, this car might not hold records in the corners, but down the straightaways, it is a rocket ship. Get ready for some scary fast speeds as we get ready to watch round one of the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legends Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is multi-time Grand Prix Legends champion Mick Claridge. Behind the scenes is our director Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Mick, this is a great place to kick things off, a legendary track and perfect for this Lotus 49. Tell us about the circuit.
Yeah, it's a hell of a week one, ain't it, Joe? This track was completed in 1922 and it's just north of Milan. Situated in the biggest city park in Europe, the full circuit is 10 kilometres long, which includes the huge oval. Today we're running on the modern Grand Prix circuit, but all the exciting corners are still there. Today you'll see what the 1967 Formula One cars were all about. On the exit of the Couch Curva Grand, you're going to see the famous four-wheel drift. To see what a lap guide of the modern layout looks like, let's jump on board with the GSRC Lotus 49 for a lap of Monza.
All right, we're in the GSRC Lotus 49, so let's do a lap around Monza. Coming down the pit straight, you're on the fastest part of the track, heading into one of the heaviest braking zones. This makes nailing your brake marker into Rettifilo incredibly tough. Drivers especially need to watch out on the first lap to avoid tangling with each other as it narrows into this slow chicane. Ease back onto the throttle out of there because in low gears, this car will absolutely buck you off. Now we approach Curva Grande, which in almost all modern cars is easily flat out. Not so in the 49. After a big lift, it's right back flat to the floor, and then you'll drift the car over to the right. Get it woed up for Della Rosa, but don't be afraid to take a lot of curb on the first apex. This will be another popular spot to try and get a pass done, so keep your head up in case someone sends one up the inside. From here, you won't get to rest for a while because it's a short burst up to the first Lesmo. Avoid the temptation to turn in too early and use the banking to help carry your momentum. Then it's another pretty short straight up to the second Lesmo, which is sharper and slower. It's also incredibly critical that you get good traction off the exit because it's a very long run down to Ascari. This is the most unique one out of the 3 chicanes on the lap. It's relatively quick and has 3 distinct apexes. Try not to take too much of the big black curbs, get fully on the throttle once you know it'll stick, and now we blast our way towards Parabolica. Usually this isn't an easy place to pass with the braking being pretty late in more modern machinery. In the 49, you've still got a relatively long braking zone, so you could attempt an overtake here. But my advice would be to focus on a good corner exit since it takes you back onto the front stretch. This is where you can catch a good draft and slingshot by your opponent, but hopefully, if you've kept it together, you've now finished a lap around Monza. You see a lap around Monza with a few of those long straights shortened since it takes a while to get down them, even at these high speeds. Now let's take a look at last year's championship, with this being round one, and give you an update. Michel Dudignon just trounced everyone, was just shy of a perfect score. A 500-point score at the end of the season would mean that he had taken maximum points at every round that he could. You can see he finished second in the final race. Rob Olenek, who has returned, is going to try and challenge him. Ove Trangrade will be a good one to potentially finish third last season, is usually up towards the front in most races. He finished 195 points behind, but jumped up 3 points in that last race. Prado was a good one to come in and really showed force, could potentially also challenge for the championship. Mick Claridge, who joins me in the booth this season, obviously won't be racing and was not able to run a full season last season, but did manage to get into the top 5. Now, in the Formula 2 Championship, it was a lot more exciting there. So, taking a look at them, David Rossi managed to come away with it. Philip Urquhart jumped up 2 spots to take second, in the end, barely ahead of Hugh Haycox and Steve Hogan, who both fell down 1 position. Andrew Ang, who was trying to stay in it, had to settle for a 5th position, but still was within the top 5 at the end of the season. Now, on the constructors' side of things, it was obviously France up at the top with the UK fighting for it. Mick helped contribute a lot of those points there, but don't forget Lake and Hall, as well as Haycox, contributing to that fight. And then, of course, the U.S. taking third ahead of Norway, who jumps up 1 spot with Ove's very good finish at the very end. And then it was Brazil who rounded out the top 5, with only Prado contributing points there. Today's race itself, we have 18 laps to contest around here in round 1. They will get 2 drop weeks, hence why 500 points is the maximum you can get around here. The setups on the car are open. That will be important. We'll be talking to Mick about that a lot. He's one of the better drivers on getting these cars wound up and set up. And the points pay down to 25th position, with 50 on tap for a win. Now, as we take a look at the qualifying, we want to remind you once again that this race is brought to you on the iRacing Esports Network. This season, once again, every round will be shown here on IESN. So make sure and subscribe. All you got to do is click the big red subscribe button, and you get all of the Grand Prix legends in your YouTube feed. Up at the top, you were noticing him before, Mick, Stefan Zeitweger. Looks like he has come in. This is a new name for me. I'm not sure if he's been running in the non-broadcast races, but certainly looks like here in today's broadcast race with his full field, he has got the speed underneath him.
Oh yeah, Stefan's going for it. In the 43s, 43.8. That's a hell of a lap. Dave's not too far behind. Yeah, Stefan. Stefan likes to show up at the Monza races, so yeah, it's good to see him again. Hopefully, he'll do the rest of the season. He's a fast kid, real fast.
Just taking second behind him, it looks like Rob Olenek moving himself up into second place. That bumps Dave Price down onto row 2. He's sitting in third, but Dave was showing some great speed last season as we watch Rob work his way through on the second lap, just starting that second one out of Redafilo. This is a bit of an odd one, of course, for this season to start off on, because typically this series runs the combined oval or without at least one of the chicanes, typically both, as we see Rob go through the second one, Della Roja. I understand this was iRacing's doing, not necessarily the choice of the series.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. The layout's just completely different, and it changes the whole outlook on the whole race. Before, when you run the oval, the combined layout, you're looking at what the last lap's going to be like. You know, you're placing yourself. Qualifying isn't that important on the oval combined layout. So, like I say, this is a completely different animal. People are going to be fighting up front, and whoever can get a gap up front might be able just about to keep it. So yeah, completely different race, Joe.
As we watch Gary Teal come across on his second lap, he does improve, but it's only good enough for 5th. So out or inside of the 3rd row, rather. Marlon Williams joins us as well this week. Let's see what he's got underneath him for this second lap. A 45.8, that jumps him up to 12th. That's only 1 spot gain for him. Olenek, who is in second, looking to see what he can do with Zeitweger. Nothing, because he does not improve, so he'll stay in second at best. Looks like Zoko going to finish his second lap. Looking to see if anybody else out there is going to be able to finish their second one. So we've got about 50 seconds left. Looks like Billy Bob Wright not going to be able to complete this one. So let's go to Fort Coland here on the screen. And he's actually completed both laps and did not set a time. So he's out there warming up as he has an off outside of Parabolica. So I think he'll have some work to do today. We got 30 seconds left. Andrew Ang has finished both of his. He's sitting 18th. Second lap, his fastest at a 47.5. Let's see if anybody out there is able to finish this second lap running through the field.
Yeah, with the weather it is today, I'll be surprised if anyone can get a faster second lap there.
Yeah, it is 95 degrees on the track surface as the time winds down to 0. That is going to be it. Our order is set for today. So let's go through our starting grid. It is going to be Stefan Zeitweger, who starts on the pole with Rob Olenek next to him. Dave Price will be in third with Marco Kika in P4 today. Then in row 3, Gary Teal has the inside. Daniel Sadro will be 6th. Ian Haycock starts 7th today. Billy Bob Wright a little bit down on his qualifying with this big field. He'll be P8. Ben Zocco starting in 9th. Next to him, rounding out the top 10, it is going to be Hugh Haycock here, Mick.
Yeah, new driver Eric Luco on 11th, followed by David Rossi. Marlon Williams follows him, and then Don Good behind them. That's a pretty good lap for Don. Oscar G. Garcia, Xavier Boscas, and Philip Earhart behind those guys. Andrew Eng, the regular, the veteran there. Andres Bruno, and Paolo Bremi, and I don't know what number I'm on, Joe, because I've lost all my numbers.
It's okay. That was 20th. 21st goes to Colin Coker. Gary Anderson will be 22nd. Jasmine Beach comes back with the last driver to get a lap time in 23rd. Matt Yeomans was in 24th. Colin Bentley 25th. And then Johnny Bell 26th. Then you get to 27th position. It's Nicholas Morelli. Marco Ravioli will be P28. Julio Vercolen 29th. Richard Larkins 30th. And Robert Reynolds 31st. Philip Gerard will round out your 32-car field here today. A lot of drivers giving chase here at this storied track. It looks simple, but it is anything but. It is a little bit cloudy overhead, but still 95 degrees Fahrenheit on the track surface. So it is slippery, it is slick. Drivers will be dealing with a lot out of the corners with all the oomph underneath these cars, known for having very little grip trying to get it going. As we see the grid out there, mostly gridded up. We're waiting on Matt Yeomans, who just grids up. Larkins as well. The lights come up. The engines start to rev. It's round 1 here in the Grand Prix Legends. What can Zeitweger do off the line? Green flag is out. He is great off the line, but Olenek is not. However, a fantastic start from Dave Price, who splits the middle, makes it 3 wide as they come down to Rettifilio. And they're going to stay 3 wide as they hit the brakes. They got to get this sorted out soon. Everyone accordions together. And it looks like Zeitweger is going to come out on top. Everybody else trying to tiptoe their way through the first chicane. I think we are clean, Mick.
I think everyone actually made it through the first chicane there, but brilliant start by Stefan, and great that he can hold that first place. But here we go, coming into the second chicane now. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep in front, and he's nice and smooth there. Jumps over the curbs, down into the Lesmos. Rob's chasing him down hard now. Rob needs to get this on. He doesn't want to leave Stefan getting a gap because Stefan's so quick.
Other than a couple cars being a little bit clumsy through De La Roja, it's relatively clean. Coming out of the second Lesmo now. Zeitweger still leading the way. Rob giving chase. Dave Price still in third. Marco Kika up there in fourth with his great qualifying for Marco, the Finn, trying to see if he can get onto the podium as they now hit the third chicane. Ascari, everybody working their way into there. Billy Bob Wright a little hot into the corner. Oh, and someone very hot in the background. Who was that off? That is Nicholas Morelli. Looks like we had someone cut the corner. I think either Ang or Brame.
Yeah, looks like Brem. He's got a slow down there, I think, didn't he?
Yep, he is going very slow on the way down to Parabolica. So a few drivers having trouble getting through cleanly on the first lap, but not so for our leader as we take a look at Zeitvegger, who is pulling along Rob Olenek. You said that the draft isn't as powerful as on the combined oval. Is it powerful enough for a slingshot to get by here?
It is, but you need to be close in Parabolica. You really need to be there. That's why I was saying Rob needs to get back onto Stefan. You know, he needs to close that gap down. But it is possible. It's tough. It's not as easy as you can do it on the combined layout, obviously. But yeah, it's there if you need it.
Oh, and we got a few cars really having trouble down into Rettifilio. I think Colin Bentley and Matt Yeomans are two of those. It looks like Gary Anderson had to cut the course through that first chicane. You can see a lot of cars slow getting back up to speed out of there.
Yeah, Marco Kika's just had a slowdown through the second chicane.
Oh, and that is horrible for him considering he was in fourth. That sent him back to 8th position. So take a look at the top of the field coming out of the second Lesmo now.
Yeah, they've got a gap now. Dave Price has got a huge gap on the guy behind him.
Yeah, I think that slowdown is what certainly separated them. And wow, it is packed up behind him as well. This is a huge train of cars behind Billy Bob Wright. That includes Haycox, Teal, Sadro, Kika, the other Haycox, there's both Ian and Hugh in there, and Ben Zocco is at the end of it in 10th place.
Yeah, there's going to be some huge drafting down here now. They're just close enough to Billy Bob Wright.
They're coming out of Parabolica. Billy Bob looks like he's got a little bit of a gap, even though they're trying to
sway around. Yeah, trying to sway around everywhere to break it.
Ooh, early braking for Gary Teal. Sadro looks to the inside because of that, but nothing doing. And we got a car off. That is Kika with even worse problems. He's in the wall as someone else cuts the chicane. I think that was David Rossi. Let's watch the replay on Kika here. I think he got a tip from behind as they were all getting woed up.
Yeah, tip from behind, and that just lifts the back of the car up. There's no way you can save that.
That was Ben Zocco, the number 7, who unfortunately got into him. David Rossi's
David Rossi just flew over the chicane there.
Had a slowdown that sent him back to 11th position behind Lucal. It has been relatively messy. You see Andrew Ang has just taken a tow. Marco Kika is in the pits as well.
Billy Bob Wright's just lost his position. Hugh Haycox has just taken him.
Wow, Hugh Haycox has started this race in 10th. He is now up to P4. This is a fantastic run from the Brit. He is the younger of the two Haycoxes and is now at the head of the train. Can he hold on to it, though? That's the question. His qualifying certainly doesn't look like he's going to be able to. And right now, coming up behind him already, Billy Bob Wright looking to get aggressive down into Parabolica. A little bit unsteady under braking for Hugh Haycox, but he holds onto it. Look how close he is, Mick, though. This is a great opportunity for Billy Bob.
Yeah, this is going to be too wide into the first chicane now.
Already ducking down into the inside. And they're side by side into the corner. Billy Bob Wright has the desired line, almost weaves into Hugh Haycox, just gives him enough space, but he's deeper on the brakes and he's going to solidify the spot.
Yeah, let's see what Hugh's like through Curva Grande, though. He might be able to get it back into the second chicane. You can hold an inside line on the right through Curva Grande. He's just not got enough momentum there. Not enough tow either.
Just a little too far back now as they slow up for Della Roja. Still, they got to worry because don't forget Gary Teal and Daniel Sadro behind them. They are licking their chops, looking for a chance to try and sneak by if they start fighting too much. Again, this is all for 4th position that they're fighting. The top 3 have continued to pull away. We've watched from a nose cam on board Daniel Sadro.
Yeah, and this goes back to what I was saying, Joe. This race is completely different to combined race. Everyone's fighting for position from the word go all the way till the end. There's no last lap attack in this race now.
Certainly
side by side into the
Oh, Sadro's too deep. Down into the gravel, and he manages to collect it, but he lost the tail of the train. And in fact, this was great for Billy Bob Wright, who look at the gap that he has pulled away.
Yeah, he's got a huge gap there. I'm just checking the front, guys. The lead guys have all separated quite a bit now as well.
There have been more problems for Daniel Sadro. Something is going on with that car. He slid his way into Parabolica, and now Ben Zocco is all over him as we continue to watch the battle ahead of him with Gary Teal chasing Hugh Haycox. Now we switch back to Zocco. Sadro to the outside. The Australian has the inside, and he gets it done down into the first chicane. He's a little wide out of the exit, but makes it stick.
Yeah, it gave him a nice room there for the inside, but he knew he'd have the momentum coming off the corner there. I'm just wondering whether it's the track temperature, Joe. People seem to be struggling in these braking zones, don't they?
So we take a look at it. Hasn't changed too much. So if they had a chance to dial it in, I would think they would have by now. Is it something where if you can set it up where it's good at the start and starts to fall away towards the end?
You can. I'm just thinking now it's a 95-degree temperature, so it's not anything majorly different than what's been in any of the practice sessions. So yeah, so people should be used to it, but maybe there's I don't know, maybe the practice sessions were different weather or something like that.
And I think Zeitweger had a slowdown because it looks like he gave up the lead out of the first chicane. Let's take a look at the replay here. Dave Price is now your new leader, and there you see him pulling off to the side. Dave easily going by.
Yeah, that looks like a slowdown, doesn't it? For sure.
Well, that also helps Rob Olenek, who's been running in third, and catches up. So the battle for the lead, you can see closing up, even though they've been pulling away from Billy Bob Wright with all his battling behind them. Down into the first corner, Zeitweger. Going to back out of it. Dave Price going to hold on for a complete first lap, leading his first lap of the race.
Yeah, all three of them nice and clean through the first chicane, so nothing's going to happen into the second, unless there's a mistake in curb or grand. But I'm expecting Zeitweger to be able to catch up to Dave here.
Question is, how early does he want to go on the attack? We're still only 6 laps into this race, coming through Delarosion now. Not quite close enough. Rob Olenek just spying the both of them, sitting in third. Now through the first Lesmo. Oh, and we've had a change behind them as Hugh Haycox takes another position. Back up to fourth for another time. Billy Bob Wright demoted. Let's take a look at the replay, see how this happened. Oh, Wright cut the chicane. The second chicane just blew through.
Oh yeah, he lost the back end on the entry. Yeah, that's a slowdown for sure. Easy place for Hugh.
Certainly is, and that puts the number 11 into P4 now as they come out of Ascari. Boy, there is just still a ton of cars in that group, even though they're a little bit split up. So we take a look at that battle for fourth place. Gary Teal giving chase. Ooh, with a great run out of Parabolica. Billy Bob Wright he's gonna get the slipstream coming down into Rettifilo. Haycox defending, forcing him around the outside, but he breaks early. Haycox should be able to hold on to this.
Yeah, great defense from Hugh there. He's been around the block now a few races now with us. He knows what to do.
It looks like he is going to fight hard to retain this position as we
Billy
see
Billy Bob's nice through there. Billy Bob, it's on. This is goes to the outside. I don't know if he can late break and get round him. Nah, brilliant defense by Hugh there. Textbook. Oh, Billy Bob! Oh, he's going to hit the wall as well. Oh, he just missed the wall.
Boy, that was close. Let's take a look on board what it was like from Billy Bob's perspective. I thought for sure he was going to hit those tires. Taking the racing line through there. Oh, too much curb maybe?
Yeah, the rear jumped up in the air, didn't it? And is that famous thing of having the car right in front of you, what you're aiming to pass, and your foot just goes down a little bit harder because you want to get the position. I think that was a case of there as well.
Ooh, Dave Price having to hold off Sightfigure down into Ascari. Oh, but Stefan's too hot. He gets into the back of Price. Price catches it. Wow. Olenek manages to get by Stefan. And it's all on again as they come up the front stretch because he's going to get the slipstream. 2 positions in 1 corner potentially for Rob Olenek as he's now on the outside of Dave Price. How damaged is Dave's car? Down into the first chicane. It is a drag race, seeing who's better on the brakes. Price a little bit stronger into the corner, takes the apex away and gets back to the lead.
And here's the main corner. Let's see who can get the power down through. This is actually an acceleration zone now, Curve Grand. It's not a slowdown. So they're both on the power now. Who can get this drift going? Rob's got a night. They're both about the same, but Rob's slightly better, so he's going to move to the inside. He might get this. Yeah, I think Dave's going to let him have this. Gives him room there. Yeah, over and under. Nice one from Rob. Brilliant move.
Gives him the inside for the first Lesmo. He's not got it done quite yet. Outside not offering enough grip. A little bit of a poke to the inside from Stefan as well, but he has to back out of that, Mick.
Yeah, Stefan's going to be nibbling in a minute. He's going to be up with these 2 guys. So they're fighting like this. Stefan's back into this. And we just see... Yeah, there's not... I think Rob's going to hold this... Dave's going to hold this position now until we get down to the parabolic and maybe try another run down the main straight. Oh, he's lost it. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it.
I think he had another contact there. I think Steph got into him for the 2nd time in 1 lap. He is not going to be happy about that one. The number 1 car, clearly better on the brakes, but not taking into account his competitors. See here? Yep, a little bit of a touch.
Yeah. Stefan was way late on the brakes. I don't know. I'm not sure if that was Dave early and Stefan late. Looks about a 50-50 to me.
Well, Stefan is certainly now in 2nd place, but with a gap up to Olenek. This makes the fight now for the bottom spot of the podium as Gary Teal is leading Ben Zoko. Ian and Hugh are well ahead of Billy Bob Wright after his spin. In fact, Zoko going to take this spot away from Gary Teal now and move himself into 3rd. As ahead of them, that's a lapped car blowing the chicane, just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was going to play into effect. I wonder if he was going to brake early and let the guys through before the first chicane there.
He's pulling off and letting everybody by. Ben Zoko well clear of Gary Teal. Ian Haycox fighting with Hugh Haycox. So who will be able to come out ahead between the father and son pair? Right now, it's being led by the father.
Do you think there's any family, do you think they won't fight each other quite as hard,
I don't think so. I think Hugh's going to try and get this one. I don't think he's going to go easy on the old man. And as we're now down to 10 to go here at Monza, the laps really ticking away with all this fighting that we're seeing, including here for 3rd place, a train of 5 cars, all dueling to try and settle out the podium.
And I'm just noticing Gary's got damage on the front. That will affect his top speed in this car by quite an amount, I think. Oh, there's a move there.
Yeah, but Hugh is so deep into the corner. He goes all the way to the outside. It's not only an over-under for Ian Haycox, but Daniel Sadro now gets the desired line. He tries to get on the throttle, though, using the momentum. Hugh Haycox looking incredibly strong as they speed up the front stretch.
Brilliant move there.
Oh, not sure that he's got this. Hugh has to cut the course, and he goes flying into the tires. That looked like a missed break point. I'm watching it from the helicopter here, Nick. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah, it's so easy to do. You're braking at 250 metres in this car down in the chicane. It's so easy to do. If you miss it by 5, then that's all there is to it.
And if all this is happening, we've got to worry about the lead because it's still within a second. Obviously not enough to pass, Mick. Is this enough to pull Stefan in, potentially?
Definitely, yeah. He's quick enough anyway today. He's a bit of a good dab hand at Monza, so he'll I'm sure he'll reel him in.
Rob Olenek has been fending him off. He's been holding him off at about 0.7 of a second for a couple laps now. Steph might have the slightest bit of damage on the front from the contacts, 2 different contacts that he had with Dave Price. I wonder if that is slowing him down slightly in a straight line. Let's see if he starts to gain. He gets it down to 0.6 coming through the Parabolica. Tries to get on the throttle, coming out of the long 180-degree turn. Back onto the front stretch. Let's see if he gains. I'm watching the times. It's up to 0.5 of a second. He's reeling him in.
Yeah, there was a bit of respite for Rob, a little bit. There was a back marker in front. He might have got a slight toe there, but they're both nice and clean through this first chicane. I'm just interested to see who's quicker through Curva Grande, because it's such an important corner to be fast through here. Just, you're on the power all the way through, and then the middle, then they're coming up to the back marker now, so that's going to play into effect now. He gets out of the way nicely.
Philippe Girard letting them by. They come out of De La Roja now. Sightweger now down to 0.4 of a second. He is indeed closing. You're right, Mick. He has got great pace at this point. He's collected himself, and he's back on the horse.
Yeah, and it's on. This battle's on. Rob's nice and smooth. I just don't think he's got the outright pace to hold Stefan away from this. No, it's on the cards, ain't it, Joe?
And we should mention that Rob Olenek is a champion in this series as well. He managed to sneak one in a topsy-turvy season before the last one that we had. So he knows how to win races. He knows how to win championships. Does he have the nerves to try and stay with this? Laps are ticking down as well. So he doesn't have too many more.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rob's no slouch in any time he gets in the 49. Oh, he lost the rear end there, just coming out the Parabolica slightly. It looks like Stefan's going to have a toe here. Looks like they're going to get this all the way down. Rob defends. Toe. Yeah, Rob's defending nicely, but I think Stefan's going to get a nice entry here. No, Rob left. He lifted off the brakes there, Rob.
Nice call by the number 2, fending off the number 1, but still, as close as Sightweger is, he's going to have plenty of opportunities at a track like this. Gets a great launch through the Curva Grande, too. Down to the inside, both of them defending back to the racing line. Rob feels safe enough to leave the door open. Nothing doing this time through.
Yeah, how good was Stefan through Curva Grande that lap?
Now up to through the through the first Lesmo. Ride on board with Rob Olenek. This could be another opportunity, a very long run down to Ascari. Even though that's the fastest chicane, I'm not sure. This is looking pretty good, Mick. He's looking to the inside already.
Yeah, he's backed out of it though. It's quite tough to pass into this this little left-hander here. But one thing I noticed about Stefan, he really takes a lot of curb on the exit of this part now. He'll bump over that little sausage curb, and he'll get a lovely run. The steering's nice and straight. He's not wobbling around everywhere on the exits. He's really clicking today. He's got a nice run. He still won't do it though. Maybe down into the first chicane. He knows he's set up for this now, as long as he gets a good exit.
Oh, there was a bobble mid-corner.
Yeah, they both did.
It's a little bit back. He's still within about 0.3 of a second. It's not as close as last time.
Yeah, this is on. This is on.
Oh, wow. Look at him gain now. My goodness. He's all the way to the inside. Rob does not defend. Lets him have it. Almost loses it under braking. Side by side into the first apex. Still side by side in the second apex. But he gets it done.
That was tight. And that second part of that chicane, that was really tight. Let's see how good Rob is through the Curva Grande. Nicely held. Nicely held.
Watch from Rob's perspective. No defense down into the corner from Sightweger. Comes back to the racing line.
Sightweger just took a huge amount of curb coming out of the second chicane there.
I know you can do that in this car. I just, in my laps and trying to run that lap guide, I wasn't sure if that was the fast way. I guess is just personal preference or setup, or how does that handle?
It's actually set up. If you run a lot of rebound on the car, you can really hammer the curbs, and it really will take them nicely. If you, I'm just sitting on board Stefan now as he come down into the Scari chicane. He'll take a huge amount of curb, but he lost the back end there. But he'll take the sausages on the left now, right, bumps over that one as well. And the car really does ride nice over curbs when you put a lot of rebound in it. I don't know why it does it, but it just does.
And you can see the gap that pulled away with that exit. He is strong there as we jump back to third place now. 10 seconds behind. Even with the battling these two have been having, they've been pulling away. Price is on the rebound. He's trying to see if he can get back onto the podium, but he's got to overtake the Australian, Ben Zocco, to do it. Let's see if the Brit can manage to overtake in these final 5 laps.
Both have got a good run out of the Parabolica there. Gary Till's still behind Dave, waiting for anything to happen. Dave now right in the toe, yeah. Ben's gone defensive here. Ben's good on the brakes. Ben is really good on the brakes into this corner. And Dave's going to get this.
Wow.
Dave's going to get it.
The hard way. The outside of the first apex gives him the inside of the next one. That also closes in Gary Teal and makes it 2 positions demoted for the Australian. Ben Zocco looking to see if he can get anything back, but his momentum is interrupted. He stays to the inside, trying to stop the bleeding. Ian Haycox is there to try and take advantage. He can't quite sneak through. So Ben Zocco now in 5th position.
I was going to say, don't discount Ian here, because he's no slouch in this car. He'll go for anything.
Looking back from Ben Zocco there. Dave Price back up to 3rd. It took him a while. I'm sure he'd like to be a little bit closer to the leaders, though. Remember, got spun out twice, once into Parabolica, the second time into here, down into a Scari. Ooh, talk about a lot of curb. Boy, he bounded over those first ones.
Yeah, that's pretty much the actual racing line. I mean, that's the way I would do it. That's as much curb as I want to take through there. But Dave's on it with pace. He's in the 43s. That's a nice run in this weather.
Gary Teal being overtaken by Zocco, at least trying to, around the outside of Parabolica. Going to be wheel to wheel onto the front stretch. And it is a drag race yet again. It's going to be who is braver down into the first corner.
And the only guy that got a decent run out of that was Ian Haycox, and he's backed out of it. That's a shame. He's good on the brakes there. But yeah, he had a really good run there. I thought he was going to make it 3 wide. Oh, he really lay on the brakes into there.
Certainly staying with it. This is bringing Dan Sadro back into the mix too, in 7th behind them. That's really been how it's been. Most of these drivers have been racing one another. Few have fallen away in this group. Although now that Dave Price has gotten past them, he has opened the gap.
Yeah, it really seems like if there has been a battle, it's really slowed the guys down, doesn't it? It sort of feels like it's done that more than anywhere to me.
Behind them, we really haven't had time to cover the midfield, which has a nice little battle between Ravioli and Garcia. This is for 13th position, but Garcia gonna lift a little bit early on this one, not willing to risk it at this point.
Yeah, Marco Ravioli really overshot the chicane there, so that gives Oscar Garcia a good run here. If he can get a nice line through curve, yeah, and he's run wide, so Oscar's got a nice line here. It's on if he wants it to be.
It looks like he's just not quite brave enough at this point. Just trying to wait it out.
Second chicane again.
Yeah, Ravioli looking a little unsteady. He's certainly unnerved with Garcia having such good runs. Don Good has been brought into the mix. How about this? Don, we usually don't see him this high up, but he qualified this high up. He's 14th in qualifying and 15th right now in the race. This is phenomenal from the number 26.
Yeah, excellent drive. Excellent drive. I'm sitting on board Don now, and he's got the 2 guys. There's no better view than having 2 guys fighting in front of you at this track, you know?
Absolutely. He's not close enough to take advantage this time. Garcia once again. Boy, this is really timid from Oscar. I would expect a couple times now. I'm with you. Thought that if he wanted the opportunity, he could have had it.
Yeah, lap 15. Maybe he's waiting till the last lap. You never know.
He's looking again. He's down to the inside into Parabolica. He's a little far back this time, though. He's given space on the entry, but Ravioli comes down to the apex, and he's going to retain this 13th position. Let's stay with this battle, but a quick mention. Let's give a nod to Andre Bruno. Started 19th, and that's by qualifying. He's up to 11th. This has been quite a climb.
Yeah, back to Garcia. He's down the inside. He's got it into the first chicane. Unless he blows the chicane. Oh, no, he's got a nice line through the chicane. It's already done by the time he gets to the second apex.
Whoa. Don Good almost ran into him, but we've got to come back to the lead. We are going to be 2 to go at the line, and Olenek has gathered it back together. He's down within 0.3 of a second. Stefan could be under threat. What can the number 2 do? It's the penultimate lap at this point, and he's going to gain with the slipstream down into the first corner. He looks to the inside. He seems to think that something is there. He's given space at the apex. Stefan doesn't defend, but he knows he's got the inside in the second apex. And so the DH driver is going to be able to hold him off for the moment.
They've got Gary Anderson just in front of them. He's going to play into effect, maybe in the Lesmo. So if Gary doesn't realise that they're coming up, this could really change things up.
If you're in second like that, Mick, and you're in a hard fight like this, do you start sizing up that lap traffic, start trying to plan something out? Or is it all just wing it?
Oh, no, you got to size it up, yeah. Definitely plan it, yeah. I mean, if something happens, you got to take your chances, you know?
Anderson pulls out of the way, so he's not giving them that chance. He doesn't want to play any part of this battle. So we ride on board with Olenek looking ahead. He knows that the white flag is out this time by. Opportunities are dwindling away for the American. Can he win at Monza? He is looking hard to try and take the lead away from our pole sitter. He did momentarily, but Mick, he's got very few chances to try and do it from here on out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what else Rob is looking at. He's looking at the back marker ahead of Johnny Bell, because that could make things... Oh, he's really late on the brakes here into the Parabolica. He's lost the... Oh. Wow, he's understeered way out.
That might be the race, unless we get a mistake.
Yeah, Stefan's going to get a lovely tow here, but Johnny moves out of the way, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, there's a bit of a sizable gap now there.
Unless we get a mistake from the number 1, Rob Olenek has really got to regain in a short amount of time. Final lap for the first round of the season as the sun comes back out, not just in reality, but metaphorically for Stefan Zeitweger, who finds himself under much less pressure the last lap of the race. They come through Curva Grande now, trying to regain it down to those 0.2 of a second that puts him within striking distance. He is currently 0.6 away, and Rob Olenek struggling to close it down.
Yeah, Stefan just ran a bit wide on the way out of the exit there on the second chicane. Rob did actually catch up quite a bit in the first chicane there, but I think it's just a bridge too far now, I think. Unless Stefan makes a mistake, then I think that's all she wrote, really.
It's certainly looking like it. They plunge down under the oval and towards Ascari. He was on pole, but he had to fight for it. A little bit of contact even along the way for the DH driver. Rob Olenek is pushing. He gains a little bit of ground through Ascari. Surprisingly, the place where Stefan has been strongest out of the corner, he once again gains a little bit. He's going to have to be just incredible to try and do something out of Parabolica. The start-finish line comes up very early. Stefan Zeitweger out of the final corner. Round 1 goes to the Monza specialist. Stefan wins here in the first race of the season for the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legends.
Benjamin's right next to Dave now in the Parabolica. He's taken a wider line. He might actually get a little run here. I don't think it's going to... No, Dave's got a nice exit there. Nice third place for Dave there, fourth for Ben.
Still, I think this is going to be disappointment for the number 3. Great job by Zoko. Teal rounds out your top 5. Ian Haycock's managing to bring it up into 6th. Let's go back to that battle for 13th. Still Garcia ahead of Ravioli ever since he managed to get by, but Marco still chasing.
Yeah, this is another annoying gap that's just slightly too big, isn't it?
Certainly Marco shouting.
Oh,
no!
Oh, he missed his brake marker by a mile.
And I think he hit the incident limit. Oh, and Garcia spins. That sends done good into the wall in a hard fashion. Absolutely smacks it. Where's the car behind him? Don is sitting in a great spot. Philippe Girard is going to be able to get by, but that is a lapped car, so that's not for position. So is Marco Kika behind him. Actually, is good the last one on the lead lap. He's got Verkoelen behind him, and he's gaining, but I think Good's going to be able to take it home.
Yeah, he's nice and safe. Well done, Don.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd hate for that to happen to him. Oh, very similar to what we saw in real life at Monza, him coming through the chicane, and suddenly there's a car there, having a good race ruined. Wow, that was a monster hit.
Wow, that really was, wasn't it? Lots of attrition. A lot of attrition today.
It really was. Not a track typically that we talk about attrition, but I guess it's just the large field. Yeah, evasive action for the 26. Hits one wall and then comes back and has to stay out of the other. As the last of the drivers stream across the line, that's going to take us to a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews. If you stick around, you'll see all the upcoming races here on the GSRC.
$40 of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
Welcome back to Monza. We just watched round one of the iRacing Grand Prix Legends Series with the Lotus 49. Classic track, classic car, but it is a newcomer to the series who manages to win. Stefan Zeitweger takes both the pole and the win, but he didn't lead every lap, not by a long stretch. He had to fight his way back up the front and then hold off Rob Olenek, who still finishes in second, only 5/10 behind him. So obviously applying pressure all the way to the end. Dave Price, who was in the mix for the podium, up with the top three for much of the race, unfortunately gets run into a couple of times, and he winds up down in third, well behind the top two. Ben Zocco takes a fourth place with Gary Teal rounding out your top five. Ian Haycox himself finishing P6 today, and Dan Sadro in seventh. Eric Lukel climbing forward from 11th on the grid to take eighth, and David Rossi, usually in the F2 championship, manages to get himself all the way up to ninth today. Marlon Williams, Mick, is going to round out our top 10.
Yeah, great race, great finishes for everyone there. It's a shame that a lot of attrition today, especially Don Good. I really feel for Don, Terrible ending to the race, but he put a little smiley face on the old chat thing afterwards, so fair play.
11th is going to be Andre Bruno with Matt Yeomans in 12th position. Don Good, 13th today. Julio Forcolin, P14. Oscar Garcia in a nice fight until the end, where unfortunately he winds up being the last car on the lead lap, finishes 15th. Contact with Marco Ravioli, inexplicably missing his braking point and doesn't finish the lap. He takes 16th. 17th goes to Johnny Bell, who managed to stay out of the way of the leaders as they lapped. Same thing with Gary Anderson, who finishes 18th. Jasmine Beach 19th, and Mick Colin Bentley rounds out our top 20.
Yeah, that's great. Colin Bentley, great to see him. He's been practicing so long this week. Philip Garrard for him. Robert Reynolds, the best back marker on iRacing. Hugh Haycox down there, and that's not a good finish for him. Either Billy Bob Wright, Andrew Eng afterwards. Marco Kika was out. Nicholas Morelli, Philip Urquhart, Colin Coker, the Aussie, Richard Larkins, all these new drivers, Joe. Paolo Bremi, Xavier Boscas.
Yeah, bit of a shame to see some of those names down there, but we do have our second place finisher ready to talk to us, Rob Olenek, who was very close to trying to fight for that win. And then second to last lap, the final corner. Rob, what exactly happened? Did you just take it in too hot?
Yeah, a little bit. And I couldn't get a run on him coming in normal. He was better on the exit of that corner, so it was that and partially experimenting with kind of coming a little wide and seeing if I could get an earlier run out of the corner, and it didn't work good. So tried it on the last lap too. Thought maybe I could do it better, but it still didn't work.
Well, even still, you're only half a second behind at the line, so not bad. Obviously, you don't have Mick and Michelle to compete with, but you've already got one championship. Does this mean that you're thinking about a potential second this season, or is this way too early to even think about championship stuff?
I would say way too early for me. I can't believe I got second today. I've been awful in the car all week. I got a new headset. I got the reverb, and I don't know. Something's a little different about it, and it's messing me up a little. So I don't know what happened all of a sudden. Earlier in the practice today, I looked at Mick's set and saw he was running a little lower pressure when he shared a set than normal. And I was like, that's what I'm running. That's weird. I usually am half a PSI below him. I knocked it down one click and the car just felt better to me. And it's not that his is wrong or mine's right. It just feels like I can feel the tires better when it's a little lower. So that might have been what it was.
Obviously, still always doing whatever you can to get the car right in the zone for you. First two races are certainly going to be draft tracks, it seems, here at Monza, and the next week at Watkins Glen. Do you think you'll fare well over in New York?
I hope so. I like Watkins. We've run there a good amount, so I got a lot of laps there. This track was an experiment. Here, the Watkins is kind of a little easier. You just take one of your old sets, play with it a little bit if something's a little different, and you're good to go.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, sorry,
which layout is it?
It is the boot layout. So
nice.
No chicane, but still a lot of fast corners.
Yeah, I like the boot layout. I like the long layouts at Watkins much more.
Well, we look forward to seeing you race there. Congratulations on a podium, kicking things off this season.
Uh,
That was Rob Olenek, our second place finisher. Up next is fourth place Ben Zoko. Mick is going to be talking to him about his fight.
Hey Ben, how you doing? Just a quick announcement before I ask you a question. You've just become a father with baby boys, so congratulations, man. I'm so over the moon to say that. The other thing I congratulate you for is actually turning up for a broadcast race. You don't really get a chance to do many of these races, and it's really great to see you. But yeah, just go through your race with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. It's good to be here. I'd like to dedicate this fourth place finish in the broadcast race to my newborn son, Zolt. And I was hoping to get
excellent.
I was hoping to get on the podium, but it was tough competition out here tonight. Really good to see so many cars turn up for this first race. I couldn't stay away. It's Monza. It's my favorite. I always do well here. You have to go back through the records of the GSRC Lotus 49 broadcast races. Tell me, I think I've got a podium here, maybe even a win here at one point. So it's my favorite track, I think, that way. But yeah, I think I started, 10th or something like that. Yes, apologies to Marco. I'm really sorry to have crashed him out of the race. That's usually him and I raced really well together. I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure I broke at my normal spot, and maybe he was being a bit cautious or something, or it could have just been me never going to make the corner. Who knows? Either way, it's my fault completely, and I'm really sorry that I punted him into the first chicane. But after that, it was some good battles all the way through. Lots of overtaking, which is why I love Monza. And I think Dave was a bit too quick for me at the end there, but it was really good to have that battle from start to finish. Good racing there with Gary and the Haycoxes and everyone. It was awesome.
Yeah, great, Ben. Thanks for coming in and doing the interview there, man. And again, congratulations. Hope to see you for another few races this season, mate.
Yeah, I try to do them when I can. Yeah, I might be back. Can't make any promises, but good to be here anyway. Thanks, Joe.
That was Ben Zoko, who finished in fourth today. I concur. Glad to see him back in racing, as we don't always get to see him out on track. But that's going to close us out for our interviews, and of course, take us to a quick break before we have a lot of action here on the GSRC. Of course, a big thank you goes to the Lotus 49 community for another season of coverage, and also to iRacing for putting us on IESN. Make sure and subscribe when you get the opportunity by clicking the big red subscribe button. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Mick, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media. Our Twitter is @GSR Channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram is GSRC_Graham. The next race, as we mentioned, headed over the pond to New York. That'll be at Watkins Glen, Saturday, September 21st at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.